Hi, I'm Mallory, and this is Claire, and today we will be speaking to you regarding childhood preventative measures from ages 5 to 12 in order to keep them from developing disease processes that are typically seen in adults. Such disease processes as diabetes, heart disease, and other factors that can be very detrimental to their health at such a young age.
Yes, and a couple of topics we want to hit on are adults modeling behavior for our children, also healthy eating habits that we can help teach our kids, but also provide for our kids as they age, and how to move our bodies and how to teach them about why that's important, but also giving them the opportunity to get out and play or be involved in different sporting activities to help keep them moving.
The first topic that we're going to touch on is modeling behavior. So what modeling behavior means is the behavior that you want your children to watch you doing and then they seek out. So those behaviors can be started at any time. Just always know that your child is watching and that's how they're going to model their life.
And along with that is it's never too late to model behavior. And so if you feel like it's, your kid is 13, it's okay. You can make a change now. A couple of really easy ways to model behavior is, for example, going outside and playing with your kid. You can't just tell them to go play outside and then expect them to love it and want to go play. You need to go play with them. And on another note from that is, what are your kids interested in? What do they want to be doing? And when you show interest in what they're interested in, that makes them, I think, proud of what they are.
Did you know that 90% of a child's calories consumed are from sugar, fat, dairy, and white flour? Children are developing insulin resistance at alarming rates and typically isn't seen until adulthood. Over the past several years, portion sizes have gotten larger while movement and exercise has decreased. One study showed that atherosclerosis is being seen in children as young as 3 years old. Another interesting statistic is that children less than 5 will only eat until they're full. However, after 5 years old, they'll eat whatever they are given.
Which is kind of a chilling statistic when you think, what we offer as parents is what's springboarding them into an overeating pattern. But just a quick touch on, eating portions, just portion sizes. They talk about how like a fruit portion would be a half cup for an adult. So if you think for a child, that's half the size of an adult. If you're giving a child a fourth of a cup of strawberry or berries or whatever it is, it's really not that much. And so I think sometimes we worry that our kids aren't getting enough when if we could just, have them eat a strawberry or just take a couple bites of an apple. And that really is giving them the serving that they need. I also think sometimes we underutilize adding vegetables and things like that into sauces to help boost our vegetable intake. I think a lot of good tips is to puree different vegetables into spaghetti sauce, or if you're going to make a fruit smoothie, you can also add spinach, just a handful. They don't have to eat, because if you think of even a little handful that you're adding into a smoothie, they would never eat that little handful just straight into their mouth. So if they're going to chug that down, that's a great way of getting those nutrients that they're not going to get any other way, just like that.
Right. The other kind of interesting fact that we ran across is the amount of how expensive it is to eat healthy. Yeah. Fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. It's really hard for some families in a lower socioeconomic status to provide that for their children. So especially if, it's a one income family, what are you going to pick? The processed food or the fresh food? So we have also found that to be really interesting. And then some alternatives to that we have seen is like the frozen fruits, the frozen vegetables. A lot of the time those will be cheaper than the fresh options, and they are thankfully frozen at the time that they have been fresh.
Right, and so those are really good options if finances are tight. Other statistics we've seen for lower socioeconomic families is it's harder for kids to get outside and play because they don't live in a safe neighborhood. They don't have any safe spaces to move in, whether that's a sports field or a community center, or just even going outside in the front yard isn't safe for them to move at all. And so there are definite barriers for eating and movement in kids that come from lower socioeconomic status, families. That's where, that's where I think community outreach really comes into play, and elementary schools. Yeah, just programs that people can utilize, whether that's scholarships that they get at the YMCA to participate in basketball, or to, Mallory was talking about programs at her daughter's school to come before.
Luckily, my child's school does after school intramural sports, to where families don't have to pay for anything. They provide the equipment, and it's literally just a signature and picking up your child an extra hour later, which can help some families that have, a one-person working family, or, maybe grandma and grandpa can get them. But I think it's a great option.
Yeah, and I just think too, knowing your surroundings and utilizing the community tools that you have, whether that is, the YMCA or after school programs that the elementary schools are offering, are just options to help facilitate movement in your area.
So now we're going to talk about different types of movement. Structured movement is where we're going to start, and structured movement means like a basketball team or a dance team or taekwondo. And structured movement means that you have a schedule. So say your child goes to dance 2 nights a week for an hour. And also the greatest thing about structured movement is it can build confidence, it builds teamwork, and it kind of forces your child into an environment where they have to become social, make friends, and develop their skills.
Yeah, so structured movement is obviously a great way to get your kids moving. And it's something that you don't have to be involved in yourself necessarily if you can't. But there's also tons of other ways for movement. So unstructured movement is something that I kind of wanted to touch on, would be going to the park, going on a family walk, anything that gets your kids moving, whether that's jumping on the trampoline, or even, we kind of battle screens all the time. So if we're doing our Nintendo games, that gets them Just Dance, or our Wii Sports, things like that keep them moving, that's still unstructured movement. And that's so important for kids. I know pediatricians tend to prescribe, only 1 to 2 hours of screen time per day. And, that's a lot of leftover time in the day to get your kids moving or just doing productive activities.
Right.
Okay, so another touch point on screen time is a lot of advertisers are, directing all their advertisements towards school-age kids. So, sugary cereals, Oreos, Chips Ahoy, all those companies, candy bars, they're directing their sales towards kids wanting to buy them and kind of banking on their parents buying them for them. And so, just another, I think, reaching point is that screen time can be detrimental, not only because it causes sedentary lifestyle, but because kids are seeing things on the screen that is also promoting an unhealthy lifestyle.
Right. And for the older generation of children, a lot of things are on TikTok now and Instagram, and these children are seeing, their favorite baseball player or their favorite, singer, and they're promoting these products, or they're promoting a lifestyle, and it's just not good for their social emotional needs. So on top of a lifestyle or a body type, you're also getting a little bit too far into them comparing themselves to someone. So the main message that we want to give today, and in conclusion to this video, is that the biggest thing that a parent can do for a child is to model the behavior that they wish to seek in their child, whether that be their exercise or their diet. A parent's role in their life, or guardian, is the main person that can choose these paths.
Right, and part of that is just doing, going the extra mile, eating healthy so your kids will eat healthy, moving with your kids, signing them up for sports, whatever it takes to help them have a healthier lifestyle. And we thought we might leave you with some suggestions on just starting small. Our intent was not to make anyone feel like they just need to overhaul their life and everything they do, but maybe just some suggestions to make some small changes that can make a big difference. Whether that's making a goal to go on a 5-minute walk every day with your kids, or whether that's
changing your ice cream to frozen yogurt,
Yeah.
or changing your white pasta for whole wheat pasta, or
Right.
try zoodles instead of noodles.
Yeah, just anything, just small changes that can really lead to big changes. Because like we said before, you know, unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy habits can lead to so many devastating diseases later on in life, and us as parents and guardians have such control over that right now while they're, you know, in the school aged years.
Right, and it'll all sort of mold how they make decisions as an adult as well.
Right. So we hope that you've learned a lot during our video.
Thank you.
So this is a handout that we would have passed out prior to our presentation for our classmates that would just show the serving sizes for kids ages 5 to 12, which we are covering in our presentation.